No.
All right, guys, welcome to the Digital Barbell Podcast. Thanks for being here. Why are you laughing? Just came out of nowhere.
It was fast and like,
I mean, if you do the intro as soon as you hit record, you don't have to edit.
yeah,
So
okay.
that's why I'm hitting it
Let's
hard.
keep rolling then. We're in it.
We're in it. Thanks, guys, for being here. If this is your first time listening to our podcast, welcome. Make sure you subscribe before you leave. If you're watching this on YouTube, I think there's a subscribe button on YouTube
Ding.
too, and hit the
I think
notification
that's
bell.
funny, but we watch a lot of YouTube now, and everybody says like stuff about like in the comments below, hit this bell, and they're pointing, and I think no one knows where it is. And we watched it on our TV, and like there's no information subscribe button. There's no like anything on your TV. So
Good point.
I don't know what we're all doing. We're all telling people to subscribe to things. No one knows exactly how to do it.
It's usually a plus sign somewhere.
Or a heart.
Add this to my life somehow.
I have no idea.
I think we're our own sponsor today. You got anything before we get into being our own
We're
sponsor?
our own sponsor.
Yeah.
I was hoping that iRobot was going to sponsor us.
Why? They've sponsored
Oh,
before.
they have?
Oh, yeah.
Because our house is being vacuumed as we speak right now. I freaking love that thing.
We are still in love with the Roomba.
Oh man, it's an iRobot.
Yeah.
It's like Roomba's like Kleenex. It's like it can be any
It is?
brand.
I thought it was the iRobot Roomba.
No,
Get out of here.
it's an iRobot is the brand, but I think they're all like it's like you call it can be a Kleenex, and it can be like this is a
I think you're wrong, but we can agree to
different
disagree.
brand, but here's a Kleenex. It's like a Coke. Hand me a Coke, and I hand you a Sprite or whatever. Like. You know what I was talking about. It's like...
Well, that's our episode, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, man. What's going on with you? Anything you want to talk about before we get into this episode?
I tweaked my neck. And it's frustrating because I don't know what happened. I woke up like this.
You really didn't you?
I didn't do anything. There was never a point where I was like, ooh, something happened and I need to stop, or I tweaked something.
Yeah.
Like never a point. I felt great on Friday, woke up on Saturday and I was like, ooh, I feel like something's in my, like, I thought it was my trap. I was like, I feel like something's messed up with my trap.
It really wasn't that bad the first day.
And then it's like fine throughout the day. And it is like intense, like really, really sharp shooting pains when I lay down. This is like the worst kind of like aggravation. I mean, it's not the worst. It's like, cause I can do my whole day and then I try to rest and lay my head back. It's like, anytime my head is laying back, I feel it. And I have no idea what I did. No idea where it actually is. Is it my shoulder? Is it my trap? Is it my neck?
You're still training though.
Yeah, I'm avoiding doing anything overhead. I did like some like face level slam balls yesterday and some tons of lunges. Yeah, I got a good workout. It's just, it's frustrating when you don't know what you I don't know. I'm like, I need to know.
She just really wants to know
what I did.
so that you can go back in your time machine and not do the thing.
Really, it's like justification. It's just like, what happened? I need to know.
I don't have those feelings at all.
Oh man,
I
get angry if I don't know.
Forward.
Like, stub your toe and you're like, oh, I tripped over that right there. That was the cause. I'm like, I need to know what caused this.
Yeah. Well, if you figure it out, let us know.
I will.
In the meantime, no sleeping and no sitting on the couch, since those are the two things that seem to bother you the most.
Know.
Okay, like I said, we're our own sponsor today because we want to let you guys know about something exciting we have coming up next month.
This is really exciting. I got to tell it.
All right, you tell it.
Guess what is back, guys?
Guess
Our
what's
most
back?
Popular program to date, Digital Barbell Body.
I'm excited too.
I'm excited.
This bad boy was originally written and released back in the year of 2020 when a lot of things changed for people. And man, so many people that are even still with us to this day started with this program. And like some of our most impressive transformations came from this program. So I'm excited that we're bringing it back.
Yep.
What are the details of when it's coming and what people should be looking for? Because it's not available to sign up right now, but it will be very soon.
It will be soon. And there'll be a couple tweaks to it. So it's going to be 8 weeks this time. It's going to be 4 workouts a week. It's going to start on September 11th and run through November 4th.
And we thought about that. We picked those dates in this time frame on purpose. Tell everybody why we thought.
So that you can spend the next 8 weeks, starting September 11th, getting fitter before the holidays. It'll start you off right after Labor Day, the week after Labor Day. So you have the full week of Labor Day.
Cut
And
loose.
then it's crunch time, September 11th. That's a Monday. Let's go. 8 weeks of workouts, 4 workouts a week. You end on November 4th.
And
Before any of the holiday craziness starts.
That's right. You're going to go into the holidays with a ton of great momentum.
Yep. And full body, Digital Barbell Body is a full body strength, bodybuilding, and conditioning program.
It's everything you need.
Yeah, it is everything you need.
And we also wanted to like make this as approachable for the biggest number of people ever. Like we want a huge group of people to go through this. So part of that is like making the price point low enough to where price isn't an issue. It's just like a total no-brainer. Like I've been listening to these guys' podcasts. I've been following them on Instagram. I want to work with them, but I've been kind of unsure, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Wow, I have to do this. So are we going to publish the pricing right now?
Sure. Why not? We have 2 options for you. One is just the workouts. If you have some experience and you just like, I just want to get your workouts. I like what you guys do. $149 for all 8 weeks. That's just the workouts delivered through True Coach.
Crazy.
$249 for the workouts and a coach.
Wow.
Full coaching. That's going to be somebody that's going to make sure that you're doing your workouts, make sure that you're accountable. There's going to be watching how you move, making sure that you're using the right intensity, so that you can get the best bang for your buck out of this 8 weeks.
And no matter which option you go with, you're going to like see your workouts in True Coach. You're going to see video demos of myself or Blakely doing every single thing. You're going to know exactly what to do no matter which option you choose. The question is like, do you kind of know what you're doing already? And you're like, just give me the workouts. I want the results from this program. Or do you want us to guide you along the way, check your form, hold you accountable, all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited.
And there'll be a barbell and a dumbbell version for both. So if you have whichever piece of equipment that you have, you can do that. So generally you need some weights, whether that's barbells or dumbbells. If you have barbells, you also will need dumbbells, bands, a box or bench. Or both.
Yeah, something to lay down on, something to step up onto.
That's about it. And jump rope is usually in there.
Yeah, like because you wrote this program at the height of like when you couldn't buy any equipment really, and people weren't going to gyms, so it's not like this super complicated thing where you have to have access to tons of equipment to make this thing happen. Like 99% of people did it at home.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
All right.
I'm excited. We don't have like a web page up yet, but if you stay in contact with our emails and our social media and
just send us an email, Digital Barbell. What's the best email for it to people to contact?
Either Blakely, Blakely at Digital Barbell, or Jonathan, Jonathan at Digital Barbell.
Or Digital Barbell at Gmail. There's a lot of ways you can contact us. But anyway,
that one's less reliable. But
you can send us an email and be like, hey, make sure I'm on the list.
Hold my spot. Okay, but today we have a specific topic we're going to get into. You want to tell everybody what we're talking about today?
It kind of goes against what we just released, but it
doesn't.
also doesn't. We're going to give you 5 reasons that you need to stop exercising.
Say what? How could a fitness and nutrition podcast tell you to stop exercising? So I guess the point of this podcast is to kind of take what we've learned from our own experience and what we see with people who come work with us. What are they doing wrong? And like, how do we get better results? How have we gotten better results in our life? And the point is we stopped exercising and we started training. Yep. So we're going to talk about 5 reasons that if you're exercising now, you should stop doing that and you should train instead. And how to even know if you're exercising now or if maybe you are training right now.
So give everybody a quick, exercise versus training, a little definition of each. What's the difference?
Exercise is unguided. Can you use a word to define the same word? Exercise is okay.
Exercise is exercise.
Exercise is kind of unstructured, unguided activity that elevates your heart rate, that uses your body, can get you sweaty, can make you tired, can make you sore. That's basically it. That's what exercise is. I mean, you can find exercise everywhere.
Yeah.
Google exercise program. Go on YouTube, exercise program. And you'll get a list of all kinds of exercises. There's classes, there's entire gyms. There's $1,000 pieces of equipment you can buy that are dedicated to exercise.
And I think that's like the most common thing people, I got to start exercising. Like that's, everybody, we all got to be exercising.
Right.
All right.
So it's different from training because training is more structured and designed to take advantage of your body's ability to improve over time. So it's more structured. It gradually gets harder. It goes through periodization and time frames where you're focusing on one particular thing. It makes you better over time because it's a structured thing that gets harder gradually after gradually after gradually.
After gradually. That didn't make any sense.
I have a psychology degree, not an English degree. But I think our smart listeners that are smarter than me get the point that training makes you better because it's structured. Exercise makes you hot, sweaty, and tired because it's more random.
Okay.
And a lot of people exercise with the goal of burning calories, which I think we'll get into. And people, after they listen to this podcast, will train not to burn calories, but to get better.
But I think a lot of people exercise wanting the benefits that training gives them.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's why we're talking about this. And that's the problem is if you're just exercising and you're not seeing any changes, any results, you stop exercising and start training.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've written several pithy Instagram posts that say something like there's a lot of people out there riding a stationary bike expecting the results that only training can give you. And you could apply that same thing to F45 to
P.S. Body will be training.
Body is training with or without a coach.
All right. The first one, training doesn't waste your time. I don't know anybody that has extra time on their hands. We're all busy. Everybody's busy.
Yep. We beat this one to death of the busy thing.
Training does not waste your time because of what you said already. It's structured. It has purpose. It has intent. It feeds off of what you did last time. You're working, it works on your weaknesses.
Yeah. I mean, it goes back to what that exercise is more random. And it's a super low barrier to entry to exercise too, especially when you think about just like going out for a jog for exercise or hopping on the Peloton for exercise or doing, 1,000 squat jumps for exercise. But the point is everybody's busy and everybody has limited time to work out. So if you only have 30 minutes a day, 45 minutes a day, or even 3 times a week to work out, man, wouldn't it be great to invest that time into something that has a little bit more thought behind it that sure, it's going to make you hot, sweaty, and tired. Also, maybe the training will, but it's also going to give you a result that exercise never will. So, it's kind of like putting your money underneath your mattress to save for retirement versus putting it into a mutual fund. You're still taking the effort to save the money, but you're not investing it wisely and not going to get a return on it in the long run.
Yeah.
So time invested in training has huge dividends, especially when you get in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. You put that time into training when you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s versus just exercising, you're going to get a much longer payoff, better return on your investment.
And this is what we want for all of our clients. They're, getting up at early hours of the morning to get in their training 3 to 4 times a week. We don't want to waste their time. We want that time to be used valuably. So that's why we provide our clients with training so that they're like, okay, I got in, I got it done. Ooh, and they can track their progress and see their results over time.
Think about this too. If you go to a gym to exercise, or you go to a group classes at a gym and you're exercising, you're not only spending the time that you're in the gym, but you're driving there.
Yeah.
You're hanging out after class. You're driving home or driving back to work or whatever. Your 1 hour exercise class might be taking up 2 to 3 hours of your day.
Yeah.
Whereas if you had a 1 hour training program, you're actually getting the benefit of that time that you're chunking away, putting in the reps. So,
yeah. All right, let's get into some more of these other ones because they're good. All right.
Reason number 2 to stop exercising.
Training translates to playing the sport of life. All right, listen to this, guys. So the overarching goal for all of us is we want to continually get stronger, get healthier, get better as we age. Continually. There shouldn't be a point where we stop and be like, all right, that's it. It's just going to be downhill from here on. It doesn't matter if you're 20, 60, 80. I think you should continually wanting to be improving on whatever that means for you.
Yeah.
So, that doesn't mean I want to continually add weight to the back of my barbell and just be eventually squatting 800 pounds because I'm just going to continue to add weight. No, I want to be able to practice squatting so that I can get up out of chairs. I want to be practicing deadlifting so that I can lift things off the floor. I want to be practicing like using, like doing clean so that I can like be powerful and like move out of the way of something if I have to.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all in the sport of life.
Yeah.
You know, we like,
we're training for the sport of life.
yeah.
And like the thing about training is, go back to what we said in the beginning, like it gives you that structure. So a well-designed training program is make sure that you're doing those types of things that you just said, picking something up off the floor, putting some weight on your body, squatting it down and standing back up again. If you're just doing a random exercise program, how do you know that you're actually training these functional things that are going to translate to, the sport of life that we're doing? You might not, especially if you go into it with just the purpose of burning calories or having your heart rate in a specific zone. You might be getting healthier because you are exercising, but you're not training in a way that's making you functional to get the most width out of the length of the life that you have.
It also makes me sad when I hear people make those kind of comments. I hear people even younger than us, like say, okay, well, once you're my age, you stop this or that, or that's all over with. And it's not, that's just a mindset. That's like,
the pastor at our church this past Sunday said, what's wrong?
You're not supposed to call people out on the podcast.
Oh, I mean, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with what he said. This is the common mindset that like, he made a comment about like, how it's impossible to have abs once you're over a certain age.
Yeah.
And that's just like a self-limiting belief that like you have to get worse as you get older. It's just not true.
Yeah, it's not
You
true.
can still train to get better as you get older, and you should. It's worth it.
Yeah.
But you're probably not going to exercise your way to a functional life in your later years.
Yep. All right. Training gives you a goal. So with a goal, like when we have a goal, we stay more consistent if we have a goal versus just like we're just exercising. So if you say you're just like, exercising, going to like a exercise class, like I'm picturing like punching on things,
Exercise.com.
jumping on things, like stepping on boxes, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you're going to an exercise class, something comes up, you get thrown off, and like you might never go back because you really didn't have a goal. You were just going to go. You were going because you thought like, okay, I should be exercising, but you didn't really have a specific goal. It's so much easier to just like drop off if you don't have a reason, So whether you are trying to like get physically stronger, like get trained for something, or, just train to like, I want to have a 300-pound squat or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like, training gives you that goal. And,
Training, it along with that goal, it like gives you motivation.
Yeah.
Like gives you tangibles. Like
Yeah.
you know that you're getting better. I know we're going to get into this a little bit later, but like to your point, if your goal of exercise is to like get sweaty and get tired, like how do you know you're getting better? Like I got sweatier than last week. I'm more tired after this week's workout than I was last week. Like training gives you these micro goals to chase because you're always knowing if you're getting better. And
it can be like I was going, it doesn't have to just be like, I want to squat this weight. It can be like, I want to be able to get up and down off the ground without using my hands. We have one of our oldest clients who has a goal to do, he wanted to do like 50 sit-ups in a row. And I think that's amazing. It's just like, okay, I'm working on my sit-ups. I can do sets of like 15 right now. And I want to bump that up and, I want to get it to 50. And I love that. And then after he hits 50, that goal, he's going to have a different goal. It's like, now I want to hit 75 in a goal. And I want to hit 100 in a row. Yeah. And that's like, and he's in his 70s. Yeah. And I think that is so cool just to continue. He's always inspiring me. Just like he continues to have goals. Yeah. I think that having the training, giving you goals also kind of like keeps you focused on avoiding the trap of just thinking like, well, I'll just do so-and-so instead. I'm kind of short on time today. I'll just go for a walk. Or, I picked up a heavy bag of concrete at Home Depot today. I probably don't really need to work out or go exercise today. Training like shifts your mindset to where, okay, I'm on a program that I need to follow. Like my goal is to execute this program every single day. And it just, leads to more consistency, which of course feeds into more results, which of course feeds into more motivation, which of course feeds into more consistency. So in the same topic, like I'm stealing this little quote from CrossFit, but so why are we even training? Like, because coming back to number 2, we're all playing the sport of life. And CrossFit has a saying that we're training for the unknown and the unknowable. And that's what they kind of how they present, like, here's the CrossFit games. And like, you don't know what is going to be thrown at you. You know, you might have to walk on your hands and do a maximum lift and then swim across the ocean. You know, like we don't know what tomorrow means. We don't know what next year is going to bring us or the next decade. And so that's why we're training. Like, that's why we're doing these things. That's why we're making sure that we can get up and down off chairs. We can, you know, and like, we've talked about this before, like, again, stealing this from CrossFit, but like the sickness to wellness chart, you know, if you have trouble just like doing an air squat without a target, you're very close to that like sickness line, you know, at any moment, like any disruption in your life, and you fall right into like, I have trouble standing up. Go all the way over on the other side, and you're in an overhead squat position, which is one of our harder squats. You have a significant amount of weight, and you can squat this many times. You are so far into the wellness that like a little hiccup in your health only brings you so far back on that thing, and it's easier to get back into the wellness if you don't want to be teetering here on the sickness line. And so that's why we're training. Like, that's why we have clients in our 70s wanting to do, you know, 50 to 100 sit-ups, because they are trying to push over to the wellness side as far as they can.
And to bring it back home to the point of this podcast, you can't do that through just exercising.
Right.
It's just not possible. You have to train for those kinds of things.
Leading us into number 4, why is training allows us to track our progress.
Yeah.
You know, like if we're in a quote exercise class and we're like, okay, I'm just trying to think of what exercise class. I keep thinking like punching and like stepping with knees.
Plyo,
like,
everything.
You're not tracking that. You don't know if you improved. You're just doing it. You're doing what the instructor says or whatever. When we're training, we can track this. Like, you know, we know, like, we pulled the dumbbell row. We did 35 pounds, and now we're doing 40, and now we're doing 15 reps, and now we're moving up to the 50. We can track our progress and just and continually see, just like the sit-up example. I'm able to do 50 sit-ups now. Now my goal is 75, and now I'm able to do 75. You know. Yeah.
Maybe even somebody who's listening to this has like done tons of exercise in their life, but there was one time where they had a little goal around something. Like you said, maybe they set a micro goal to be able to do 20 push-ups in a row or whatever. And they started practicing it, and they did 2 the first time, and then they did 4, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You were training. The reason you got better and hit that goal is because, forget all the other exercise you were doing, to hit that goal, you trained. So if you can structure your entire time that you have dedicated to your fitness around training, imagine the possibilities that you can reach. Imagine the progress that you can make with you know, the broad stroke of training across everything.
I think a lot of us see this when we want to train for something specific. Like, I want to train to do a 5K. I want to train to do a half marathon.
Or even like learn a new language.
You set out and you're like, okay, here's my training program. And then you follow it. You're pretty consistent. And then the race or whatever the thing happens, and then you meet your goal and you're like, okay, I did it. And then the training is over. But if we really do bring this back and relate it to, like, we're all playing this sport of life, and we're training to just continually get better, never be declining, I think we can kind of conceptualize like why we're continuing to train and track our progress.
And there's so many things that you can track, not only like the number of reps that you did and the weight that you lifted, but, you know, since we combined strength training, bodybuilding, and CrossFit, we can check our progress on, you know, conditioning elements. How fast can we run a mile? How quickly can we do benchmark workouts? How many sit-ups can we do in a minute? Tracking all that stuff gives you the ability to train.
And I didn't mention this back when we did the first one about not wasting time, but training with a coach or at least a plan ends up saving you that time of like trying to figure out what to do. And it allows you the ability to track your progress like in a structured way. And just like a coach getting eyes on you allows them to see you, how you're moving, and like even letting that progress happen even sooner. Be like, oh, that was way too light. Like, I know that you can move up in weight here, and you're going to get even more out of your training that way. All right. Last one.
Let me just say one more thing before we move on with that. Well, actually, I'll save it for the next point. Go ahead.
Okay. Last one. Whether we say we want this or not, training changes your body composition.
Yeah. This is like the example I said about you can't like Peloton your way to a fit, muscular, athletic physique. It's just not going to happen. There are certain things that make muscles grow, and there are certain things that don't make muscles grow. It's just a fact. I don't care if you can do 1,000 reps with your 5 pound dumbbells, that's not the type of training that's going to actually cause your muscles to get bigger. We have to have something more challenging. We have to have progressive overload. And that only comes by keeping track and making sure that you're progressing over time. And we got to work somewhere close to the amount that you can do, the most that you can do within a certain rep range. And that's one of the problems with exercise is you go to these classes, you go to the gym, you see people doing stuff, and they're doing so much total volume with such little weight that it really just turns into a cardiovascular event or a muscular endurance event. They're just exercising, they're burning calories, they're getting a burn, and it's probably making them really sore. But they're not actually doing the thing that's going to cause their body to change. You have to work at the right intensities. You have to support that with proper sleep and nutrition, which is probably a whole separate podcast we can get into. But this is really what changed in our own training back in 2015, 2016 that made the biggest difference, because we exercised you exercised for a long time before I did anything. But then we started CrossFit, which was really largely only exercise back when we started in 2009. And we did that straight, except for some, break to do some dedicated strength training. But, our physiques didn't really change a lot during that time. And a lot had to do with our sucky nutrition too. But it wasn't until we got into bodybuilding and we started learning more about progressive overload, which is a staple tenet of training, that we actually started to see our physiques change.
And combining the three, the strength training, bodybuilding, and the doses of CrossFit that we need, that we really see significant changes in our body composition. I mean, I still look back at pictures when I owned my own CrossFit gym and I was doing primarily just CrossFit. And I'm about, I think back then I was around like the 123, 125 weight range. And today I weigh 138 pounds, and I feel like I like the way my body looks and my body composition better today because You've trained. I've trained, and I've built muscle throughout that time. And back then I was exercising, and I was doing all the things. I was exercising hard. Yeah. And I wasn't changing my body composition. Yeah.
And I think it's intimidating for somebody who doesn't know a lot about this stuff to all right, where do I start? I'm tired of exercising. How do I train? So that's where finding, even if it's not us, finding a coach that can give you a solid plan to follow that meets you where you are and builds from there is so important. But it breaks my heart really to I follow a lot of friends on Instagram and, a lot of people that do fitness, not for a living, but just fit, active people. And it breaks my heart to watch these people fixate on their calorie burn as a measure of whether they're doing it right or not. And then to see them spending their time doing these types of exercises and routines that are never going to actually cause their body to change in the way that they want. And it's it goes back to number one. They're investing so much time and effort into something that's giving them a stinky return. And I hate it. Yeah. I know that there's a better way.
Yeah. All right. That was 5 reasons to stop exercising.
And we Jedi mind tricked you into training instead. All right. If that makes sense to you, I hope it does. If it doesn't, shoot one of us an email. We're happy to explain it to you more. And like Blakely said, be on the lookout for the details for Digital Barbell Body. Again, it's going to start on September 11th. It's an 8-week program that is all you need to take care of everything we just said in this podcast. All right. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. We'll catch you guys next week. Thank you.